Hey, Fred. The leaves are changing colors. It's getting colder outside. I think it's time for football season.
No, Matt, what are you talking about? There's still a lot of baseball to be played.
Are you sure? It just seems that everyone is excited for gridiron action. Yeah, baseball is fun and all, but it's that time of the year for football.
Come on, Matt. The Pirates can clinch a playoff spot any day now. It's going to be exciting to play for a World Series title again.
Ah, Fred, you're right. I was just fooling with you. Let's go, Bucks.
People, let me tell you about my best friend. He's a warm-hearted person who loved me till the end. People, let me tell you about my best friend. He's a one-boy, cuddly toy, my up, my down, my pride and joy. People, let me tell you about him. He's so much fun. Whether we're talking man to man or whether we're talking sun to sun, 'cause he's my best friend. Yeah, he's my best friend. La la, ba la 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 ya, ba la 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 ba, ba la 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 ya, ba la la la. Beep, bo, bo, bye, rubba-dibba, beep, bo, bye, rubba-dibba, beep, bo,
Welcome back to Bucco Banter. As usual, I'm your co-host, Fred Rossano.
And I'm your co-host, Matthew Peaslee.
Well, Matt, it's been a pretty exciting 2 weeks since we last had Bucco Banter, and the Pirates have done some amazing things since then.
Great winning streak, taking games against the Phillies, Cubs, Red Sox, beating up on the Brewers, and now they're looking good in this series in Atlanta, and any day now they could clinch a playoff spot. And I see you might have jumped ahead a little bit, but I agree with you. 2014 postseason.
We're ready.
We did it last year, we did it this year, and holy cow, it's exciting.
Yeah, I think the last couple weeks here, you can't expect them to play anymore, especially pitching wise. Last three games have all been 1-0
wins. They're like one of the first times in franchise history since
I think they said since 1917.
Yeah. 1917, yeah.
It's been the first time they played three straight 1-0 games.
And the 1-0 game they lost to against the Brewers on Saturday, they had chances to win that. A couple, and Polanco got thrown out at the plate, and maybe one of those chances comes around, and we could be just one game away from clinching a playoff spot. But that Friday game against the Brewers to open the series, we're down 2-0. Two guys are on, and Russell Martin just delivers that 3-run home run. And that was
pretty close to rivaling last year in the wild card game. Not quite there, but they said that the excitement in the stands was just phenomenal.
I was driving to work here after a football game, listening to it on the radio, and Tim Neverett was on the call, and usually he goes crazy off the bat if it's a deep fly ball, but he was slow and cautious with this one. He said, it's a fly ball, it's back. Then he just exploded when it went over the fence.
And Greg Brown sort of did the same thing. I think he was, it wasn't hit that far back.
Yeah, just cleared the fence.
The way they went to the fence there, you thought they might have been able to leap up and get it, but obviously a dramatic home run that just...
Yep.
The next day the Brewers won, but you have to think that sort of took a lot of the momentum away from the Brewers by losing the game that way. I think I could have pitched that ninth inning and gotten out of that inning.
I would have liked to see that. No.
No, you wouldn't have. But,
I know what you're saying. But then Sunday, Russell Martin comes through again with the game-winning hit late in the game, and backing up Vance Worley, who was kicked out of the rotation in the bullpen, comes back for his next start and was flawless, just perfect. And then Francisco Liriano did that the series opener against the Braves the next day. Just the starting pitching's been phenomenal.
You look at that starting pitching staff. You have Garrett Cole, obviously top draft pick. You have Liriano, Volquez, Jeff Locke, and Worley. Now those last four there. Two free agents that were widely criticized. Right. Neil Huntington was widely criticized
for bringing them in.
They're washed up. They're over the hill. They haven't done anything. Look at his earned run average. These guys are terrible, and both of them have been studs for their the last Liriano last year too. And Locke
started the year in AAA,
Yep.
and then spent most of the year in AAA, and has come up and filled in when he needed to, and he's been on fire too.
And Worley, he's off the scrap heap from the Twins, and you think, oh well, that's not a bad trade. I remember when the trade was made, I said that's not a bad trade. He was pretty tough,
right,
when his rookie year or whatever. But and then even look beyond that with Charlie Morton as the sixth guy. You got Locke and Morton in that same trade.
Right, to the Braves for Nate McLouth a couple years ago.
Which was widely criticized because they gave up Nate McLouth when he was at the peak of his career right then. And I remember I was in a drive-thru at Dairy Queen when that trade was made, and the woman was talking to me. I thought, what? They couldn't have traded Nate McLouth. But it just goes to show you how these guys know a little bit more than what we know about what goes on behind the scenes in baseball and what these guys are capable of doing.
Yeah,
I mean, five out of their six starters are not out of their own organization.
Yeah, just Garrett Cole was the top pick, and it's putting this whole team together. A lot of it has been. I mean, we get Locke and Morton when they're young, so I think they pretty much started. I know Locke was in Altoona and Bradenton early on, but Charlie kind of
was a little bit
stepped
more
up
advanced.
right ahead. But just looking at our hitting too, I mean, Jordy Mercer's homegrown, Neil Walker's homegrown. We get Ike Davis.
But if you look at you look at Russell Martin and you look at Josh Harrison.
Josh Harrison was just thrown in there with that trade of the Cubs a couple of years ago.
What was his name? John Graybo.
John Graybo to them, and Tom Gorzolani. We sent Tom Gorzolani and John Graybo to Chicago. We get John.
Yeah, I think wasn't it?
No, the same one. Yeah, pretty sure it was the same one because we get Kevin Hart, who was the pitcher, who was supposed to be
and he had
somewhat of a stud, and he wasn't very good. We got another pitcher in there too, and Harrison was just supposed to be the throwaway. Almost player to be named later, even though he was part of the trade. But his development has just been great,
phenomenal.
Yeah, and
Russell Martin was criticized too when he got him 2 years ago. And we discussed this on one of the other Bucco banners, and you just never know. You just got to as a general manager in the front office, you got to hope they make some of the good moves, and they've made quite a few of them over the last few years. They made some bad ones early on there when Huntington first took over, but.
And even this whole season, you never know what's going to happen. There's been so much criticism just this season about, rightfully so, with the bullpen not performing as well as they did, or some stupid base running mistakes here or there. But this team is in position to be.
He did have some bad base running mistakes,
but their offense has been just incredible too. Where they've gotten the key.
And people are even criticizing that too because they've only scored a few runs, and I'm kind of worried.
But they're getting the job done.
This is why, once again, stats, you can throw them out the window for any particular game.
Yeah,
they're meaningless.
It's just people coming through at the right times, and it's been an incredible ride, and there's hopefully more special moments to be happening.
I hope so. We'll see. We could clinch tonight, hopefully.
Yep, you'll get the champagne showers on Bucco Banter next episode.
We'll take it from there.
Well, Fred, all season long we've brought some odds and ends here and made a nice display on our desk here, and it's time for Bucco Banter Show and Tell once again. And what can you add to our display today?
Well, I'm going back quite a ways here with this pin / little mini helmet that looks like the one that Pirate Panda wears, and it is this is from September 4th, 1971.
Wow!
Coincidentally, another World Series year.
How about that?
But there's an interesting story behind this one.
Please tell.
We took a bus from Newcastle to the Pirate game, me and some friends of ours, some friends of mine. And upon the end of the game, I kept saying, I got to get some kind of a souvenir, whatever. And so I went into the line. You know how they used to have the lines outside. You probably don't remember it. They used to have lines outside the stadium with souvenirs and stuff. They didn't sell as much inside, but they would sell it outside. So I said, oh, hold on. Let me go over here and get this one. So I looked around and see whatever was cheap. So I grabbed this off of there.
You grabbed that?
Okay. I grabbed this, and I was waiting in line. And the line was like, quite a few, like 4 or 5 back. And I couldn't couldn't push my way through there. So I kept trying to pay for it. I kept trying to push my way through. All of a sudden, two of my friends picked me up by the elbows and just whisked me away. So I'm hoping the statute of limitations has run out on this because it was stolen from Three Rivers Stadium back in 1971. But it's still kind of a neat little memento.
It is.
It looks a little...
And it's got a neat little story to go with it.
Yep. Another neat little memento from the Pirates over the years.
Good deal, Fred.
Yep.
Very cool.
Ask the experts. Ask the experts. Ask the experts. Ask the experts.
Well, it's now time for Ask the Experts, so let's go to our question hat. Shoot, I forgot. The question hat is still missing.
Well, thank you very much, Matt. It's unfortunate once again that we have not found the hat, and we're still looking for it. And please, ladies and gentlemen, if you do see the hat, please refer to the number at the bottom of your screen today, and please give us any information that you have for that. Thank you.
Let's go to our questions.
Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, Panda.
I'm sorry, but we are, unfortunately, Panda had to use the little Panda room, so we'll get right to the questions.
Sure.
Matt?
Fred, we'll start with you. Question number 1. If the Pirates are in the playoffs, who's not? Jose Tabata or Gregory Polanco, set in by Ziggy Z of Fallensby?
Ooh, good question.
Because those playoff rosters are going to be cut.
This is it's going back to Tabata actually being sent down. Oh, man. I'd have to go. Right? There is no room for him, right? There is no room for two of them. Because
I'd think you got to get rid of one of them to fill out that.
I'd have to say Polanco.
Yeah, I agree with you. Just that Tabata might be a little bit more versatile, and the fact that he's been here before last year.
I never thought I'd say that, but I guess, you got to.
I mean, and Polanco's done okay since he's been called up here again, but either one of them they're not going to get too much playing time, I don't think, in the playoffs, because we'll have Travis Snyder doing well.
I thought I read somewhere where they were even contemplating saying, is it necessary to have Snyder and Polanco, more or less automatically saying that Tabata would be. I don't know.
I want Snyder for sure. I'd say Polanco's the odd man out.
I agree.
He'll have other times to take us to the playoffs in many years to come. Here's another question. Question number 2. Do you think Clint Hurdle pulls his starting pitchers too early? Megan of Wintersville.
Another good question. They could. I don't know if this is regarding the Sunday performance by Worley, who was doing spectacular. In that game, he threw 82 pitches, and only 19 of them were balls. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And he was in total control of that game. But once again, like we had said a little bit earlier, these guys know a little bit more, and that was a tough ninth inning.
Thankfully, Carlos Gomez that screws up on the base pass to ease it a little bit, but shoot,
that was really close. Yeah, if he would have come under some serious criticism.
Yeah, if we blow that one. But
I think he said that someone asked him that, and he said, I don't know if did Worley bat in the inning before that?
No, they pinch hit. They pinch hit.
Well, that's what I meant. I think they were saying Hurdle was saying that. They were looking for another run there, and they thought pinch hitting.
And that's a good reason. That's a perfectly fine reason.
But he was dominating that game. I can understand. There are times when it does seem like he's. I know Volk has complained a little bit.
Yeah, and the fact
that he was taken out a little bit too early.
Because the starting pitching has been great, but they haven't had a complete game.
But on the other hand, maybe they're fresher now than a lot of other teams because they have taken them out a little bit early. Even like guys like Adam Wainwright pitched 120, 130 pitches a game here. That's an awful lot of extra pitches here. But all right, let's go to your questions. If the Bucks are in the playoffs, will John Holdscomb
we got to know when to Holdscomb, know when to fold him,
be on the roster? And if so, who won't make it? This is sort of this is from Bino of Steubenville.
Then this is like the pitching aspect of this question. Holdscomb just came literally in the middle of nowhere. He was out in some Montana or South Dakota independent league, and just randomly gets a tryout. And I heard a story that he was flown to Altoona, I think, for a tryout. But he's like, if I don't make it, you're going to have to pay for me to fly back. He didn't have the money. This league, he was only making like $600 a month.
Wow, I didn't hear that.
He couldn't afford the flight. Luckily, things worked out, and things are really working out for him now.
Wow, he's been unbelievable.
And he's just got that frame of a pitcher. What is he, like 6'8"? He's can zoom it in there. I really like him, and I hope that he's a plan for the future of our bullpen. I'd like to keep him for the playoff run, just the fact that he's been so dominant, and he's better than a Genmar Gomez.
You're always down on
Genmar
Gomez.
He hasn't done anything. Even Justin Wilson. I'd rather see John Holtzcomb in the playoffs than Justin Wilson if it came down to that.
Yeah, you got to. I think I don't know. Would they have to get rid of one of those guys? I don't know.
The bullpen's pretty stocked up back there. I would think they'd have to cut it down somehow. I don't. Wouldn't they? I don't
know. They'd probably go with 11 or 12 pitchers, and I don't know.
Because you got John Axford back there too, and Watson, and Melanson, obviously.
I forgot about.
There's a lot back there, and Brandon Compton's still there too. So
there's pleasant problems to have. I guess.
Sure.
Okay, the final question. Here's hoping the Pirates reach the divisional series. If and when they do, would you go with a 4-man staff or a 5-man staff? If it's a 4-man staff, who should be dropped? Mike of Knoxville.
Jeez, these have been good questions, all four. If we make it to the division series, either by winning the division, which is still a possibility, or winning that 1-game wild card against likely the Giants. Just the way, if it does go to a 4-man rotation, I'd like to see Cole, Liriano, Volquez, and Worley.
So you're leaving out
Jeff Locke.
Now, do you still leave him on the roster there, or do you?
You'd put him in the bullpen, but I would rather see a 5-man rotation. I'd like to see Jeff Locke go out there. I mean, that's kind of the problems they had last year. Wasn't it a 5-man rotation, but they skipped Burnett to get to Cole for that deciding game in the division series.
Well, no, Locke wasn't there at all.
You're right. And Burnett did pitch one of those division series games.
Yeah,
they were down to a 4-man.
Because that was a game I don't know if they got blown out, but that was a game.
That was the game 1 or 2 where Burnett just blew up.
Oh, yeah, he blew up early in the game.
So it was a 4.
And that's why they didn't come back with him in the 5th game.
So I think they did go with a 4-man. That's probably what they'll do this year. So let's go Cole, Liriano, Volquez, Worley, and leave Jeff Locke out.
I guess that makes sense. Well, the next time we see you,
it'll be Bucktober.
It'll be Bucktober, and we'll be in the postseason. Hopefully, we'll be in the divisional series. We'll see you then, we will hopefully be facing, I think it's the Nationals. Could be the best record.
Yeah.
So we'll be playing the Nationals in about a week from now. See you then. Well, we'll say, sorry, the Panda had to use the bathroom.
All right, 5.
God.
I know what upset me.
This is where it falls apart.
If you